I'm Ilah. I use she, her pronouns. I am on the TeenTix New Guard, so that means mostly I just work with TeenTix as part of the teen representatives to make sure that the organization stays focused on teenagers in the arts community.
My name is Leah St. I'm she, her. I am a writer and digital art curator. I've written for The Stranger, Monday Arts Journal, and Arcade Magazine. And the last show that I had was at Soil Gallery.
What kind of art were you interested in during high school, and what are you interested in now?
I did so much paper mache in high school, and in college started working a lot in paper making, but it was more of an elective. And then I did film and performance. So I went to school of the Museum of Fine Arts in college. So I did kind of this shift. And then the paper making and the fiber mediums became a little bit more of my form of baking. And then as soon as this whole thing went on lockdown, I just made a giant paper mache replica of my dog and
Wow.
just went right back into comfort zone. This is
wow. Look,
so that was my first lockdown revival project. What about you? What are you interested in?
I mostly do illustration and drawing and stuff like that. I do digital art and also just drawing with pen and ink and colored pencil and sometimes painting. But for quarantine, I've gotten into baking as well because I really like eating. So I like baking as well because then I get to eat stuff. And I've been mostly doing digital art because I've been watching a lot of retro 80s anime and then just getting into that art style.
I love it.
It's very fun.
What do you think brought you into being this involved in the arts and having this be like a pivotal moment for you to pursue this?
The pivotal moments have been just like when I was young, I would draw and then my parents just told me to keep going because they wanted me to have a thing. A lot of people, when they have like creative pursuits, it really benefits them. And so that when they saw that I enjoyed drawing, they just encouraged me to keep doing it and really just helped me over the course of that. And I had like a really great art teacher and she would come in like every first Friday of the month or something and we'd do like very professional and very serious art projects, as serious as she treated us all like we could be and were artists, which is really great. And I think that was really what really got me on the path of art. I benefit best in arts related spaces when I'm treated like I have something important to say and the people around me agree. And I think that's a great thing about TeenTix. I think it's really great because it's treating teenagers like they have valuable opinions and thoughts on art because we do. Yes. And it might not be as refined as some people, but it's still present. So why do you think that having access to the art for everyone is just like essential?
For me, it's really important for people to understand if you grant people access to space and information across marginalized communities, then people are going to have that access to the arts that they're craving, that they need, that is essential. Since we're talking about specifically right now, how do you feel the importance of engaging in the arts right now is and where that falls within your specific experience?
I feel like I was engaging in a lot of art before this because that's what I've been trying to like get for myself. But for a lot of people, there are people at my age who are just discovering what art can be for them or discovering what they like and what they want to see more. And now they've been cut off from that in a way because people don't know how to operate right now and they're like trying and they're making a lot of efforts and a lot of people are succeeding in certain ways, but it's still a huge cutoff from what it was. And so for young people, I think trying to maintain that journey and maintain that relationship is really important because we're all just really looking for coping mechanisms. And this isn't like freebie time to like just do whatever you want because there's no school and a lot of people can't go to work. It's because a lot of us are in lockdown and quarantine for our own safety. Just waking up to that every day and knowing that outside there are a lot of really dangerous and scary things happening. It's really important for a lot of people to just have art that they can engage in and sometimes escape into because that's what they need right now. a lot of art is happening on social media, and it's happening because this is the outlets that we have now that are still accessible to us. And so a lot of people my age are social media natives. We already kind of know how to work a lot of this stuff. It's helping with a lot of young people trying to express their art right now. I'm illustrating a lineup for a quarantine concert that's going to happen next week that a bunch of young people have put together already, because they know what they need and they know what other people need, and they also know how to use the platform that they've been unceremoniously given in this time. That's helpful in a way.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I just had this flashback because my last year of college, I graduated art history at Seattle University, was when Donald Trump got elected. I had to give a presentation about propaganda commercials out of Russia or something. And I was like, can I just do this next week? It was like the following day. And he emailed me back. He said, I understand how everyone feels right now. What we need to do right now is still talk about art. I equate sort of my creative process and engagement with art that I'm going through right now with how I felt in those first year of the presidency. One of my biggest projects came out of that, but morning time and like times of non-productivity was really important for me at that moment. But I just think that that relationship is really interesting. And I don't think I ever really realized that I have like a lot of the same feelings now that I had then.
Yeah, I feel like crises in general, they take away the opportunity to make art and engage in art happily from a lot of people, but then they also push a lot of people to make art because of what they need to do and like how they're coping. A lot of people are like, they both are driven away from it and they're driven towards it at different times.
Mm-hmm. Going back to like, why is arts access an essential human right, is because it provides comfort and you can commiserate with each other through images and through expressions. And there's just no way to talk about it without accepting that.
How have you seen the definition of art change in your experience with art and seeing art, and also how has it changed right now in this time of crisis?
I love talking about how the definition of art changes over time, because I think it really puts into perspective like how malleable that definition is. During my particular arts experience, I think that I can really just trace really clearly the acceptance of social media as an arts platform that has become from theoretical to actual. And that it is the way that galleries should function right now, because marginalized communities have more access to being able to present themselves on these free platforms.
Yeah, I think with the way it's changing, it used to be that a lot of artists were reliant on the institutions to survive, but now if the institutions want to survive, they need to figure out how to keep up.
And I think that when the next wave of artists or the next wave of media says, well, if you want us, you come and get us. And you fix your ability to archive my work. I'm not going to change my work so that you can buy it. You figure out a different way to fund it. That is going to be the pivotal point. Do you think that there's like a huge difference, or do you see a big difference in how you all function versus how like two generations or even one generation above you functions?
I feel like usually the conclusion that I comes to, even though it's like an everlasting conversation in my head, is like people are just always going to be people, and people can always they can always relate to other people regardless of things. It just doesn't have to be in every way. Like I think every single person in the world can relate at least in one way to someone else. But sometimes it trips people up when they can't see it happening in all ways. The conventions that people my age go through to like share art are different than how people did it 50 years ago. It might be different, but like it's reaching the same goal and it's going different places because people are always growing. It's still, I think, overall a similar way to go about things. When people see people using different tools, they take that as an offense to their own tools that they've been using, which isn't true at all.
Yeah, That's a really good way to put it. Well, thank you, and thanks for sharing everything with me.
Yeah.
And I hope that your baking goes really well.
Thank you. Yeah, I have cookie dough in the freezer right now, but thank you also. This was a very interesting conversation.